For the McLaren Formula One team, speed is everything. When every second counts, there's no time to dig through data. Dropbox Dash finds what you need fast across all your work apps, so you can focus on what matters. Less busy work, more breakthroughs. High-performing teams rely on high-performing tools like Dropbox Dash. Learn more at dropbox.com/McLaren F1.
Life is a workout, and Smoothie King is here to help you power through. Whether you're grinding out bicep curls or muscling the couch across the living room, crushing morning miles, or sprinting through back-to-back meetings, Smoothie King has fuel to help you maximize your workouts, own your recovery, and elevate your game. Give your body the energy, protein, and power it needs with a lineup of delicious smoothies made to help you conquer your goals. Only at Smoothie King.
At Arizona State University, we're bringing world-class education from our globally acclaimed faculty to you. Earn your degree from the nation's most innovative university. Online. That's a degree better. Learn more at asuonline.asu.edu.
Welcome to another Find the Edge production for the Premier League Cricket Club. Connecting players and coaches, clubs and leagues, volunteers and supporters alike, you're in the right place for the best of the 33 ECB Premier Leagues and the 20 NCCA counties, bringing you the stories, the stats and the standout performances that make this game great. Don't forget to hit the subscribe button to both our Premier League and NCCA shows so you don't miss any episodes. Now, shall we get stuck in? So welcome everybody to the Premier League Cricket Show, and as we mentioned on the show earlier this week, this is our ECB National Club Championship semi-final preview. I've had the great opportunity this week to chat with three of the four skippers who are all going to be battling it out this Sunday, the 17th of August, for that trip to Lords in September on the 20th. Now, unfortunately, not been able to catch up with Ollie from Nolan Dorridge, but we have been able to speak to Gary Knight from Ormskirk, where Nolan Dorridge will be travelling to this Sunday. And then after that, we've also spoken with Brad Wadland, the skipper and coach at Penzance, together with Joe Ellis-Grewal from Wanstead and Snaresbrook, who made that mega trip down to Penzance over the weekend. Great to catch up with the guys. Hope you enjoy these little interviews and previews of this weekend's big games. Gary Knight, Ormskirk skipper, National Knockout Championship semi-finalist. How much are you guys looking forward to it?
Yeah, it goes without saying that we're really excited for it. Obviously a huge win in the last round at South North, and since then it's been all eyes on the next round and being one more hurdle away from a showpiece that we all want to be involved in. So really excited.
Yeah, I mean, you guys have had an interesting run through to the semi-finals, haven't you? With, correct me if I'm wrong, a little, shall we say, an easier route against Roe Green. You made that look really comfortable that day that I was up there in the last of the group stages. And then you came up against your arch rivals as always and left it almost a bit late against Northern. Yeah,
I'd say it was a little bit of a different game to how we've a couple of early rounds, especially against Leyland and possibly Roe Green, sort of 200 plus scores. And chase, or sort of set 200 plus against Leyland. They scored plenty against us. And then obviously chasing down 200 plus against Roe Green, like I say, very comfortably, but I still think they're a good all-round side, Roe Green. So I wouldn't say it was too easy a round through. And then, every time we play against Northern in this national for the last probably 4 or 5 years, when we've both been at our peaks, we sort of stand in each other's way, especially locally in terms of achieving what we really want to. So to get, they got one over on us last year in the quarterfinal, and it was good to pay them back this year. But home advantage has played massive parts in that. We've got huge respect for Northern, as do they us. And we know where their key threats are, and home advantage has played massive part over in the last few years.
Absolutely, and having got to the 148 that you needed to beat them with just an over and a half to spare, you then decided to go and have an even bigger thriller up in the northeast against. I mean, I followed the results. I was working that day, as you know, but I was still following all of the results. And that was an absolute humdinger right to the end. I mean, 204 for 9, reduced to 36 overs. Did you feel reasonably confident with that?
Yeah, it was sort of a topsy-turvy game, really. We got off to a bit of a flyer. In the first over, Callum Turner, I think, took the first over for 12.
Yeah.
And George Cleese gets out first ball of the second over.
Yeah.
Then we get more of a flyer with George Lavelle and Callum Turner getting both 40s and 50s each. I think when Callum came in, I came in and got off to a bit of a quick start as well, and got out. Looking back, I think it sort of teased us into thinking that we needed 220, 240.
Okay.
And needed a bigger score. So I think sort of 2-3 wickets in the middle order were sort of lost trying to go for too many.
Yeah.
So then ended up losing a few too many wickets that we'd like. And then we eventually managed to get put on, I think, 26, 28 for the last wicket that got us over 200. And it was very much more a mental target, that, for us. And yeah, if we'd have been defending 180, I think we'd have been a lot less confident than we were.
Yeah.
We walked out defending over 200. So, and yeah, with our bowling attack, we were confident that we could try and put them under some pressure, even though they're a hell of a strong side and know their ground perfectly. We managed to do that. And yeah, again, got ahead of the game after a few early boundaries from one of their openers. We got ahead of the game again. Got what I thought were all the big dogs out, including Chris Hewison. And then Will Alexander, who I think is going to be a really good player, bowled really well first innings and came out and just didn't miss time a ball. He looks like he could be a really good player. I think he's involved with Durham already. And yeah, got 50 off 28 balls, and Ollie McGee helped him along the way and got him close. And yeah, really satisfying to get over the line in a really tight one, especially away from home at a really big ground. Yeah,
I mean, I'll don't mind saying I was already writing the social post to say that you guys had won when you had them at 142 for 7 in the 30th over, because they needed 60 in the last 6 overs and they were down to the last 3 or 4 batters, and you're thinking they're struggling here. But that little partnership between Will Alexander and Oliver McGee, as a skipper, you're looking around the field going, who's going to take one here, aren't you?
Yeah, exactly. You're sort of hoping someone takes a big catch or creates half a chance that then gets us back on the board. And luckily we managed to hold them off just about in that last over. Sort of brought the seamers back at the right time. And after that first ball of the last over went for 4, and they needed 7 off 5. I was concerned. But yeah, Sam Marsh bowled brilliantly for 3 dots, and then to take Ollie McGee's wicket, and then 6 to win off the last ball, managed to go for 4. As soon as that ball hit the deck, we were celebrating.
I mean, in terms of following a ball by ball, as I was at the time, it doesn't get any tighter, to say the least. And you're the one with all the responsibility on your shoulders, even though there's a team there. You're the one who's picked the bowler, who's going to go where, who's going to do what. And Sam had taken an early wicket, but then hadn't really got through, had he, for the rest of his session until he came back to the end. And is it fair to say Sam just did what Sam does in that last over?
Yeah, obviously, I think we last played South North in 2021, which was my first year as captain. Okay. And we were a very young side there. And I think, we were at the start of our sort of journey as a side. So it was really nice to come up against South North at our peak now, I think. Got lads who are sort of early 30s, high 20s, mid 20s, rather than lads in the teens. They were all sort of rough and ready cricketers. And when Marshy needed to produce, he had that sort of experience and calmness behind him just to know what his skills could do and know what he had to do. And it was one of those pitches where you could take a little bit of the pace off. It's probably the better ball to take the pace off, bowl it into the wicket, which he did for 2 or 3 balls in a row, and managed to get us across the line.
And now you host Nolan Dorridge for the Birmingham League. You go into this game on the weekend, let's be honest, in bloody good form. I mean, 50 plus points ahead in the league. It couldn't be going better for you right now, could it?
Yeah, we're just coming to sort of that business stage of the season, aren't we? Which I think playing Northern the day before in the league, before that South North game, really helped us because we were sort of stayed at that level of competitiveness. Knew it was 2 tough games over the weekend, so there was no sort of lacked in concentration or anything all weekend, so it was really good. And yeah, we've got lads in decent form with the back. Callum Turner's in really good form at the moment, at the top of the order. Lads are sort of still quite fresh bowling wise, because we've managed to sort of take wickets. Sort of all 4 or 5 bowlers in the first team have shared them around this year. So again, really looking forward to the weekend. We've got Bootle the day before, which again is not always a really big game. Got the local rivalry between Ormskirk and Bootle. Which we're looking forward to. And having a national semi-final at home is just a massive occasion. So we're really looking forward to hosting.
Yeah, and obviously the big question is, I mean, you're all going to say you look one game ahead. You do. But you must have been having a look at Nolan Dorridge and going, okay, let's have a look here, what's going on. You're not telling me that you haven't had a look.
Yeah, I've obviously had a brief look. It's down to my job, I suppose. Yeah, a few of the younger lads and stuff don't worry themselves with stressing about that. I think that's my job. But had a look at a few of the lads and spoken to Simon Kerrigan, who obviously has big links with us. He's working with Warwickshire at the moment, I think, doing their second 11. So gave us a few little bit of insight and things like that. I think I actually played with Nick James as well at Glamorgan when I was trialling. He had a contract, I think, at Glamorgan. So I know a couple of the lads, but looking forward to it.
And I think they've got a setup at Nolan Dorridge, not dissimilar to you, where they've got a good number of those experienced guys who've been around, like Nick James, for a while, but they've also got the young guns like Hamza Sheikh coming through, and you're very similar to you, so it should be a good battle.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's ultimately how successful sides operate at the moment. I don't think you can go too young, and same thing, I don't think you can go too old in terms of the 40-over game now. It just requires so much effort in the field to try and create a squeeze and chasing the game at times and running people ragged and things in the field. So you do need that balance.
And how much have you guys, you must have given it that thought to that big weekend at Lords? You might be in a good situation because it's the last day of the Liverpool comp that the final's actually on. And you might have already done the league by then because it's on Saturday the 20th of September, which I think they coincide, don't they?
Yeah, we'll cross that bridge.
I was going to say, I just didn't want 2 finalists to get to Lords and have to be talking to their respective exec committees to say, what do we bloody do about this now then?
Yeah, exactly. The Liverpool committee have been good with us in the past. In 2013, I think, when we got to the Oval for the 2020 finals day, sort of had to rearrange the league game. So there shouldn't be too many issues with that, whether it's needed or not. We'll cross that. We'll cross that bridge when it comes to it. I'm more worried about Callum Turner's brother's wedding, which is on the 20th of September, which I'm more concerned about. So,
might have to move something then somewhere along the way.
Yeah, I need to get a few gifts for Callum's mum or Callum's brother and future sister-in-law.
Absolutely. I mean, dare to dream. I mean, would it be? You've been around a bit now, Gary, as you say, but going back to the Oval all those years ago and been leading Ormskirk for a few years. Would this be the pinnacle for you to A, lead the side out at Lords, and B, just potentially, win the big one there?
Yeah, without a doubt. It's what we all want. I remember Liam and Tyler on your show last year at this same stage, just saying it's the pinnacle of club cricket for me. I've never played a game at Lords, even though I've done a bit of trialling and stuff. I've never had the pleasure of playing there yet, and I'd love to lead out Ormskirk there. But again, one game at a time.
It is, absolutely. Hey, have a good one this weekend, mate. I'll be watching from Edgbaston. I'm on work duty again, unfortunately. Be watching the scores coming through, and it'll be fascinating to see. At least you guys and Noel, you've got the home draw. Noel haven't got that far to go compared to our friends at Wanstead, who've got a bloody long drive down to Penzance this weekend.
Yeah, I did see that. Obviously, we had a 3.5-hour south-north coach journey, which was good. It was really good for the club and create some memories. But I did look at Penzance in 5 hours, and I thought, I thought that was a hell of a journey. But Wanstead and Penzance, 2 extremely strong sides as well as Nolan Dorridge. So I think all 4 teams deserve to be exactly where they are. So let the best team progress.
Absolutely. And should you be there, we will see you at Lords on the 20th of September, mate.
Splendid. Cheers, mate.
So with Brad Wadland from Penzance ahead of this weekend's Club Championship semi-final, this is what it was all about for this year, guys, wasn't it?
It was. I remember you coming down sort of in the winter time. I think it was February time, and it was something that we spoke about that we really wanted to target this year. So yeah, really pleased to still be in the competition, and to have a home semi is a bonus as well.
Well, we'll talk about the home semi in a second, but let's go through how you've got there. You've had a slightly easier route than most to start with because your opponents kept conceding, didn't they?
It's a very yeah. It was. I think we had a bye first round, and then the two next rounds were conceded, unfortunately, by two teams from Devon, which for us was very frustrating because we, at home we like to sort of host those games and we get a good crowd come down and I think so. As a group of players, I think we were disappointed not to play, and also fans and spectators and sponsors and things they were disappointed as well. So
but then the next round you did your first away trip to the last of the teams from not Premier League, Golden Hill, and let's be brutal about it. It was just Christian Purchase Day, wasn't it?
It was. I'll be honest. We did a lot of research as we do in all our national knockout games, and we knew Golden Hill would be a strong side at home. Lots of spin. Obviously, Darush Ahmed, who's now signed at Gloucester for the Metro, so we knew they'd have a very good side. And we turned up, won the toss, decided to field just to try and chase something down, really, to see what we could get. And they got around 230. And then Christian actually pulled his quad within the last 10 overs, so he couldn't actually run. He had to stand still. So, which actually made a big difference because he actually just stood still and hit the ball so clean. And when he gets like that, he's so hard to defend. Like, I think 150 off, 80 balls or 90 balls of whatever it was, and it was some of the cleanest hitting I've seen him do things like that before. But I think some of our new guys had never seen Christian sort of do that type of thing. So yeah, he single-handedly knocked that score off, really. And I think it was the 26th or 27th over. Yeah,
it was the 28th over you won it. 153 off 91 balls for Perchy, 24s and 9 sixes. And that's explained now. I can hear it. I can already see him stand and deliver, literally.
Yeah. No, and he's that type. I think he's a momentum player. And obviously we'll talk about the next round. But yeah, that sort of catapulted his season, really. I think he's a lot fitter than probably he's been in previous years, and then mentally he's in a really, really, really good place. So when he's firing, I don't care who's bowling. He's a very, very dangerous cricketer.
Yeah, most definitely. And then obviously you got the game up at home to Bridgewater, which was obviously a big game to bring a Whipple side down to your place. And Bridgewater full of some big names, to be frank, around, not just Premier League, but national counties as well. Now, me and you spoke before that, and you expected a number of them to be playing national counties, and then you saw them all bloody turn up, didn't you?
It's an interesting one because I think there was a bit of banter throughout the week. So I think Charlie Sharland, who obviously played at Bridgewater for 2 seasons before coming down to join us, was getting messages throughout the week saying, Joe and Alex Eklund were both playing for Dorset, and Matt Burton would be away, and all these things, and Regan was away on a stag do, and all these things. So we, I think we sort of bit the bullet. We did our research as normal with their team. The only one who I really wasn't expecting to be there, and he weren't there, was Lintop, because Warwickshire was still in the T20. So we did all our research and stuff, and we planned for them to come down full strength. And then obviously when they walked through the door off the coach, they were full strength, greeted by Alex Russell, first one walking through the door with a big smile on his face. So
absolutely.
But that's what you want. I think like Bridgewater are a super, super strong team, very organised, obviously absolutely dominating the Whipple at the moment. And you want to play in those games. I think they're the types of games where you see where people are. And Christian again in that game scoring a century up top against Alfie Ogborn and Kian Roberts, who's in the Metro Bank squad with Somerset at the moment, and he's Alex Russell, who's outstanding cricketer. So he did it in a high pressure game at home in front of quite a good crowd. So it's brilliant when those things come to fruition, really.
Now, got to ask, was his quad still giving him some difficulty on that day? Because 9 4s and 6 6s, he wasn't running that many, was he?
He wasn't, and in fairness, we had the boundaries out quite a distance because we knew that how they play and sort of thing. We put the boundaries out a bit longer than normal. So he got himself in, and again, Christian sort of set the tone. I think we were 60 off 11, and then I think there was that middle over period from about 15 overs to 30 overs where he really, really put his foot down, and it didn't matter where they were bowling or who was bowling. He was hitting the ball out of the ground. So.
But then when you saw Tommy Sturgis take the top 3 out of the Bridgewater innings, that's what you brought Tommy down to Penzance for, wasn't it?
Well, Tommy's. I've seen a lot of Tommy, obviously, over the years, and he's grown up massively in, I would say, the last sort of 2 years. And he obviously played for Worcester last year in the Metro Bank. And I think he reached a period last year, come September, and he was like, you know what, I've played minor counties or national counties cricket for a long, long time in a very good team at Berkshire and also for Cornwall. And I think he got obviously challengers as well. And I think he just got to that stage of, I've had my go. I've reached the level I want to play at. And he sort of it's opened up a new Tommy, if that makes sense. So the freshness now of him playing and being around, and he's an outstanding cricketer. Like he's a wicket-taking bowler who bowls very quick and gets the ball, makes batsmen play all the time. So, like I said, against Bridgie, those 3 wickets in the first sort of 5-6 overs really did slow the momentum down, and then it gave us probably 12 overs or 14 overs of them having to rebuild rather than score at a rate. And try and keep up. So Tommy's a massive asset for us. I think 15 of the 21 games we've played this year, we've taken 3 wickets in the first 10 overs. And Tommy's a massive part of that.
Yeah, obviously the Eklund boys tried to put a bit of a kibosh on it, as they do every time they come out to bat together. But you took Joe's wicket, and old-timer Mr. Johnny Ludlam, he won't mind me saying that, he took Alex's wicket. And after then, it was relatively straightforward to get them all out, wasn't it?
It was, and again, in our research and in our sort of planning, we did mention that both Eklunds, if they're at the crease together, they'll be busy. They're very well organised. They'll play the situation accordingly, and pretty much everything that we sort of planned for happened. And then it meant that me and Luds, as sort of the 5th bowler on that day, we actually got through our over. I think we got through probably 10 or 11 overs, and we only were planning on getting through the 8, but Johnny bowled so well at that one end. He sort of built enough pressure and thankfully got Alex's wicket. And then, like you said, it sort of opened the door then for us to sort of attack one of the ends.
Yeah, and it was nice to get through that knowing that you've got a big quarter-final. You didn't know at the time where it was going to be, but then you find out you've got a 5.5, 6 hour drive to Middleton in Sussex, the joys of the National Championship. But you guys, let's be honest, you got there, you might as well have turned up and driven back straight away. It was that bloody quick in the end.
It was a very strange one because we, like I said, we played Wadebridge on the Saturday, and it was first versus second, so that was a massive game. We got over the line in that game, and then we had the coach from Wadebridge, which is an hour and 20 minutes from Penzance, which was quite handy. So it took that hour and 20 minutes off, and then we got to Southampton, I think around about 11, half 11 in the evening. The boys had a good rest, back up in the morning. 40 minutes to the ground, and in fairness to Middleton, that they put on a brilliant effort. That, in terms of changing rooms were all fully stocked with different things. The sponsors were there. The ground was looking immaculate. Microphone, music play. So they put on a big effort. In fairness, and I'm just glad. Obviously, we turned up on that day, and Tommy and Dino and May ran our overseas just got the ball in good areas, and we managed to take the wickets.
So you welcomed all the hospitality and then bowled them all out for 69 in 19 overs. Well done, Mr. Wadlam, boys. And it was all 4 seamers, wasn't it? Just went to town.
I think that's our biggest strength, and it's probably something that I've not seen. I've played 15 years or 18 years actually of national counties cricket and Premier League cricket, and I've not played in a team that have got 4 seamers who all bowl around 78, 80 mile an hour. And for club cricket, it's relentless, and that's the word the Middleton captain used. He said, "You guys are relentless. Like you've got 4 guys who all bowl quick, and they're all slightly different."
Yeah.
So I think that's where we've probably got a slight advantage on other teams. That we've got four fast bowlers that can all sort of operate at good pace and have played a high level.
Yeah. And obviously, as you say, the overseas, Mehran Sawal, 5 for 26 off 5 overs. He just blew that middle order away completely, didn't he?
He did. It was an interesting one because he's a stump-to-stump type bowler and always attacks the stump and makes batsmen play. So I think 3 of them were bowled. There was a LBW and 1 caught behind. So all his dismissals were perfectly summed up for how his style of bowling.
Yeah.
I think their captain at the end of the game, he said they made a mistake in playing us on the hybrid. So they hadn't played on the hybrid all year, and their committee on the Wednesday night asked to play on the hybrid for whatever reasons, and he agreed to it. And he said, like, that's probably his own downfall, that they probably should have played on the square instead of playing on the hybrid. So
I've got to applaud you guys. You had some trouble, shall we say, over the winter when it came to getting your overseas in. Between us, I think we know there was 2 or 3 names, and then it just didn't work out. But Moran's really started to come to play for you guys now. He's really starting to enjoy himself.
He has, and I think he had a very, very tough time at the beginning. He arrived on the Thursday and then lost his father on the Sunday. And then his visa situation, he had to go back to London to sort the visa out and different things. So his first couple of weeks were very tough. But he's fitted in and settled in so well. And he's, the joker of him now is starting to come out, and he sort of has the banter with the boys and does junior coaching on a Friday night. And lots of the kids look up to him, especially the fast bowlers. They watch at Penzance when he's bowling, and they can relate to him because he's around the club quite a lot. So, he's been brilliant, and he's been probably setting up over the last couple of weeks to do something like that. So hopefully we got 4 league games left, and obviously this semi-final next Sunday. Hopefully another couple of big performances from him to help us sort of finish the season strong.
And how big would it be for you, with that move that you made from Swansea down to Penzance, to fulfil, what the chairman wants here? He wants to get you guys to Lords this year. Full stop. End of story. How big would that be for the club?
Oh, it'd be massive. You can see the sort of the buzz around the club. Even when we played Bridgewater, it was the ground was packed, and Bridgewater brought 50 or 60 people with them as well, which was brilliant. And it just created such an atmosphere that I think at club level you don't have that regularly. So players just sort of lift, and as a club player, the opportunity to play at Lords, it doesn't come around often. So I think everybody, all 4 teams who are still in this competition, no doubt will be having probably the same messages to each other and to the group. And for all 4 clubs, it's a huge opportunity that potentially is once in a lifetime opportunity. I followed Brentwood last year because Aaron West is a good friend of mine, and followed their journey. And Westy sent me a message a couple of days ago actually, and said, "Look, good luck. Hope if you get to Lords, I'll be there." And Toby Bullock, who's in Ors McCook's team, he sent a message as well. Said it'd be great to play against you and Percy at Lords. And it's nice that you have those links and stuff. And Ollie Carroll, obviously, with Nolan Dorich, you come up against players that you've played against maybe in national counties cricket and things. But I think for the club players and stuff, and for the actual club itself, it's what a story it would be to be able to get a bus or a train or fly from Newquay Airport to Gatwick and be able to go and watch your home club side go and play at the home of cricket. And
how important is it for you, with your national counties hat on, that you're the only side left from a national county?
Yeah, it's very interesting because I got told that, I think it was 2-3 days ago. So when I thought about that, I thought, wow, that is very it's very interesting. And like I said, our team, if you go through the team, most have played. I think everybody's played apart from Mehran, has played national counties cricket. So national counties cricket, as you've seen this week with the amount of debuts going into the Metro Bank, it's a fantastic format, and it's a brilliant window for young players and up and coming players to sort of be professionals and aspire to play at that level. So the standard over the last sort of 3, 4, 5 years, I think, has gone up massively. And it's a brilliant place to be. But as a club, we're delighted to be where we are, and hopefully we can have one more big push.
Absolutely. We'll be looking very keenly on at the scores at both. Unfortunately, as I've said to the other skippers, I'm busy on the day because I'm having to work at bloody Edgbaston, which means I can't get to either semi-final, which is gutting to say the least. But I will be at Lords. The diary's locked in the diary. The date's been locked in the diary since start of the year. And, it'd be great to see either you, Wanstead, Ormskirk or Nolan Dorridge there. So have a good one this weekend, mate. And we'll see where you are next week, eh?
Appreciate that. Thanks for having us on.
Joe Ellis-Grewal, welcome to the Premier League Cricket Show, mate. And congratulations, double national semi-finalists. But we're talking about the national knockout this weekend coming up. How excited are you? Let's start with that big white elephant. How excited are you about that drive down to Penzance on Saturday night?
Dreading it, to be honest. We got a tough league game the day before, and logistically it's proved a bit of a nightmare to try and organise. But we're going to head down as far as we can, stay sort of part of the way over on the Saturday, and then do the rest of the journey on the Sunday. So fingers crossed, we're not too tired when we rock up to Penzance.
Yeah, it's a good shot. I mean, to be fair to Penzance, they did it the opposite direction for the quarter-final. They were down at Middleton in Sussex and had 5.5 hours or whatever it was. You guys got 6 hours to go down there. But this is a national semi-final, so you've got to be expected to travel a little bit further than East Grinstead when you got to the final in 2017, though.
Correct, yeah. So it's I think the third time we've been this far in the competition. And so, when we obviously knew that they were in that side of the draw and there was a good chance of meeting them. But I think, and I said to the guys, as a club cricketer, how many times are you going to travel that far to play, against Penzance or ever at Penzance Cricket Club again? So, look, journey time aside, we're really looking forward to going down there in, the last four of the National Cup.
And correct me if I'm wrong, you are one of two players left in the squad at the moment who were in the 2017 final. I think it was yourself and Kishan.
Yes, and also Zain Shazad, but he was injured, so he missed the final.
Right.
But he's the other one who's still there. So there's still a couple of us, and obviously it's interesting at Ormskirk because Gary played against us in the final then before.
Yeah.
But in terms of we've gone through exactly the same process again. I think 7 of that out of the 11 that will likely play there have all come through the Colts. We keep a very consistent side.
Yeah.
That's what Wanstead Cricket Club is about. Sustainability, bringing guys through, and generally speaking, a lot of our guys are one club men. They don't travel around, and they're in it for the long haul. Which
is great. I mean, your run to the semis so far. I mean, I've looked at the results week in, week out when we've been putting them on our website and doing a bit of a report. I'm going to say you've had a relatively comfortable run so far. The Buckhurst Hill game, you did them with 12 overs to spare. The Bishop Stortford game, that one was a big surprise for me. You did them with 12 overs to spare, but you put a big total on with 259 there, and that was the key with that one, wasn't it? Yeah, look, I think a lot of our games have been comfortable on paper, but actually in terms of a draw, we've played some really, really good sides. Even Buckhurst Hill, they're a local rival of ours. We've had some great games against them. So that wasn't easy. Again, Stortford on paper were a great side, but we played really well. Ash Manor in the first round, obviously EAPL Prem side. And then look, Peterborough Town, I think we've played them every year the last 3 years. They're a proper side. And again, at one stage, looked like they were winning and we managed to claw that one back. And then obviously the last round, Ashted, on paper, they had a really good overseas. Ex-England opener, Mark Stoneman's there.
But again, we just bowled and fielded really well and did a professional job with the bat. So it's actually, it's nice in a way that we've beaten really, really good sides. And again, the games where we have been under a little bit of pressure, even that Peterborough Town game, right, where we were a few down early against some really good opening bowling, we've managed to come through the other side. And I think, if you win every round super comfortably or you play pretty poor sides, suddenly then when you come up against it or you're in a bit of bother, it can hit you a bit harder. But I think we've come through that so many times that gives you confidence going into the next game.
Yeah, most definitely. I would totally agree with you. On paper, the Ashmore game, I mean, they're a T20 national, a regional finalist. Buckhurst Hill, great run they've had. Bishop Stortford, that to me was the one where I thought, ooh, that could be sticky, with Cam going down there, Cam Fletcher as well.
Yeah.
Peterborough had just knocked Brentwood, last year's national champions, out. Although I did tip Peterborough to beat Brentwood that day because they'd beaten Brentwood in a 40-over pre-season game as well and are a very strong side. You went down to Ashted for the semi-final. Again, made light work of it.
Yeah, I think, when we play this 40-over stuff, it suits our batting lineup. We bat really deep. It doesn't take a rocket scientist to look at how bat we deep in that side. And we've got, ridiculous amount of bowling options. So I think we cover all bases. And again, we have a squad. We're not one of these teams who just has 11 guys and suddenly, 5 or 6 of our guys who play in the twos would walk into, if not more, most of the first 11s, and they play at Wanstead because they've been there their whole lives and they love it. That one of my under 18s in the twos just scored 190 for Middlesex under 18s in the week. So, it gives you a lot of confidence that actually, even when we're missing 2 or 3, and again, in a lot of those games, we haven't had a full side.
Yeah.
The guys come in and do a fantastic job. So again, it's just nice having that squad feeling. And same against the Ashton game.
Absolutely. Would it be fair to say, though, the last 2 rounds in the quarterfinal, against Ashton in the previous round, Mohammed Hassan Hamid has been the star with his ton against Peterborough, and then his 4 wickets against Ashton, and he finished the game off as well. But he's been the star of the last 2 rounds for you, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's really turned up in the national games. He's a brilliant player. Again, it happens to Wanstead. He just turned up to our winter nets a couple of years ago and is here studying and said, "Oh, I'm looking to play a bit of cricket." And we had a bat and a bowl, and we went, "Oh, this guy's really, really good." And so he's got his own ambitions of going on and playing further. And to be honest, the way that he bats and bowls, I think that he really could go and play, a lot higher standard than the club stuff we play. But he's brilliant. And again, other games when we've been under a little bit of pressure, someone always seems to stand up and do the job. And I think that's a really good sign. Is even if Hassan fails, well, Haris, Simo, someone else does the job. We're not relying on just 2 or 3 guys. But yeah, he's having a really, really good year. And he's full of confidence going into the next round.
And leading the attack in that quarter-final against Ashted, I mean, Kishen is one of the more experienced players in the side, shall we say. But 8 overs, 3 for 13. You couldn't ask any more from your opening bowler, could you?
No, I mean, Kishen's one of these people who everyone hates because not only is he probably our best player still, but he also plays golf off +4. And he's basically going through the PGA professional route. So he's only played 3 games for us all year because he's been sort of working and doing his degree. But he's managed to sort of carve out time for the national games. He doesn't really train, and he just grabs the ball, turns up half an hour before, and does that. And it's just not fair, really. But he's a massive boost for the team. He's we call him our Darren Stevens. He just trots in and does enough with the ball, and obviously has a lot of firepower with the bat, and it's just a great guy to have around. But yeah, he's done brilliantly when he's come in, and he'll be a real key person to look out for in the next round.
He's one of those guys that we just simply call annoying. No 2 ways about it. You just can't be doing them, can you?
It's just not fair.
Absolutely. Have you had an opportunity, and I'm going to ask every skipper this, but have you had a quick look at Penzance, what they've got, what they're all about? Most skippers will try and be politically correct and say, "Oh, it's all about ourselves in the next game." But come on now.
Yeah, no, I'm not the most PC of captains. I've had a good look at them. All this stuff's out there now, right? So let's be really honest. They're a really, really good side. They've got, I think, 5 new guys in from what they had last year, and all of them are, absolutely quality cricketers. They've got, proper top six, and they've got 4 very, very good seamers. And it's going to be a real challenge. And, if I'm being really honest with you, versus our side, we're probably the underdogs, and I'd say that they're the favourites going into that game. With the guys that they've got, and I know they've got a very ambitious chairman. And as a club, they're very different to Wanstead. We're little old Wanstead in northeast London, and we turn up, and half my side is 20 years old, and we just go about and do our thing. So for me, actually, even though we are sort of the underdogs, there's no pressure on us. We've got to trek down there 6 hours after a huge league game the day before because we're in the running for the league. And, we just turn up, do our thing. And, if we play anywhere near the capabilities that we've got, we'll have a pretty good day out, I think.
Absolutely. It's a big 2 weekends ahead for you guys, though, isn't it? With the national knockouts on this weekend, and then the following weekend, you got the regional T20s. I'm going to ask you, be greedy. You want both. But actually, if you had to choose which one would it be?
Yeah, look, I think it would probably be the one day. I think the prize of a day out at Lords, for the club is fantastic and a real, just reward. There aren't many cricketers out there that get to play at Lords. And look, I think ultimately it's a slightly different competition to the T20s in that, generally speaking, you're coming up against quality sides week in, week out. And, the 40 over format, generally speaking, the best side comes out on top, or the team that plays better on the day. Whereas, we all know T20 can be a little bit more of a lottery. So I think, look, it would be slight favourites. I think the key thing for us is which other clubs can do is go, oh, we're in both, so we'll take one, and then suddenly in 2 weeks you're out of both, and you go, oh God, we've travelled around the country and still have nothing to show for it. But I think the One Day Cup slightly edges it for us.
Yeah, most definitely. And having won it in 2017, back at your own ground, effectively, back at Chelmsford, to go have that potential to win it at Lords, that's just a different stratosphere altogether.
Yeah, no, look, it is. And I think, we've had a bit of heartbreak in that cup because the last 3 years before this year, we've lost in the quarterfinals. And I think as a side, we're really honest in that all 3 of those quarterfinals, we threw it away. We got ourselves in positions to win the games quite comfortably. And, either opposition players had a really good day out or, we threw those games away. So the quarterfinal last week, 2 weeks ago, was a massive, massive game for us, which we managed to come through. So I think actually that gives you a lot of confidence, and we've learned from being in those situations before. Mm-hmm. So then it just becomes about playing your cricket and getting through the next round.
Most definitely. Hey, we've got big couple of weekends coming up. We'll be following what you guys are doing very, very closely. Unfortunately, I can't get to either of the semi-finals this weekend because of work myself, but be watching very closely. Hope that trip doesn't take too much out of it, because I think proper battle down there with Penzance without a shadow, because you've both got, let's be honest, at the top of the order, you've both got some serious firepower.
Yeah, I think that's it with the 40 over stuff. Is it's a very strange format because you're playing, whites and a red ball, but also it's only 40 overs and a pretty small, short power play. So yeah, we know that if a couple of our guys come off at the top, we're on for a pretty big total. Mm-hmm. And again, you've only got to look at Penzance and the guys that they've got in that top order and know that they're going to come hard at you. But again, that you're going to get your chances. So look, they're a top side. As I say, we're going into this game with absolutely no expectations. The pressure's very much off from our side. A few of us are going to stay down and have a couple of days holiday afterwards, but it will be a much nicer holiday if we can manage to come away with the win.
Hey, that sounds like a great way to spend a few days. No matter which way, it's a great way to spend a few days. But have a good one, Joe. Look forward to seeing how it goes, mate. And we'll be in touch, I'm sure, for one of the finals, because you've got to get to one of them, surely.
You'd like to think so. But look, it's only us standing in the way of that. So look, we're going to keep doing what we're doing, keep enjoying it, do it the Wanstead way, and fingers crossed we can sneak through.
All the best, mate.
Thanks a lot.
Thanks for joining us at the Premier League Cricket Club. We'll be back soon with more from the world of Premier League and NCCA cricket. But in the meantime, don't forget to subscribe, leave us a review and follow us wherever you get your socials. Or maybe check out our website, premierleaguecricket.co.uk, to stay updated. Until next time, have a good one.
podcast is part of the Sports Social Podcast Network.
There's nothing more satisfying than finding the perfect green paint for your living room. Except maybe popping open that can of Valspar Ultra and rolling that first smooth stroke on the wall. And there's nothing more satisfying than admiring your freshly painted wall.
Ooh.
Except maybe peeling off the painter's tape to see those crisp edges. But the most satisfying part of all? Valspar Ultra's price tag, starting at $29.98 a gallon. Affordable, durable, available at Lowe's. Price varies by Shein.